So you've decided to make a go of it in a new city.
Or maybe you decided to finally move out of your mother's basement. Jeremy.
Well, here's some tips on how to move out of state like a pro. I've moved a total of 14 times in my life, and the first 10 were within a 20-mile radius. I first moved out of state from West Virginia to California in May of 2012. That's right, my first out-of-state move was actually across the country.
Urchin's motto, man. Go big, go home. All right.
You know, it was like the Oregon Trail, but without all the death and dysentery, and we never had to ford a river or anything like that. With the help of my best friend Jonathan, you guys know him as Bidums, Nicole and I embarked on a 6-day journey across the United States, and along the way, we hit cities like Indianapolis, St. Louis, and Denver. We drove out to California the previous year for internships and then drove back at the end of the summer. We had made the trip before, so it wasn't that big of a deal, but moving your stuff is a very big deal. Tip number 1, the more stuff you have, the harder it is to move. When I was a kid, moving was easy. Your whole life fits in one room and your parents have to worry about the rest. Simple. Sorry, Mom. As an adult, my first out-of-state move was fresh out of college, so I didn't really have any furniture worth keeping. Special thanks to IKEA for their quality craftsmanship, bro.
Alan wrenching a bookcase called a Njurk because he couldn't afford the Sklurg.
No. So our move consisted of a fully loaded Toyota Prius and Honda Civic Coupe. Anything we couldn't fit, we either got rid of or put in storage. Again, sorry, Mom. Which brings me to tip number 2, don't bother selling anything unless it's actually worth something. And even then, I'd recommend selling it at like a flea market instead of a garage sale any day. It's a huge hassle to try and set up a garage sale only to have no one show up.
Ornery, so ornery, so ornery inside real Rome.
Donate your knickknacks and whatnot to Goodwill or Salvation Army, and be sure to grab a receipt so that way you can write off your charitable donation come tax season. You know, that fun adult stuff.
I'm an adult! Please!
Which brings me to my next tip, which is money. Start saving because you'll need lots of money to move to a new state. Between security deposits, new household items like furniture or appliances, moving will definitely put a hole in your wallet. And depending on how far the physical move is, you might need to hire some movers. If it's less than 100 miles, then you might feel confident to rent a truck and move all the stuff yourself.
But I've never driven a truck before.
No problem. U-Haul lets anyone drive a giant truck, even though it's dangerous, because hey, you're moving.
Sorry, I'm making a go of it in a new city.
Don't do it, bro. Don't do it, kid.
There's a reason that people have made a living out of moving your crap from one place to another. That crap is harder than a constipated rock.
And if you're moving across the country, you'll definitely need to hire movers, which brings me to my next tip. Tip number 4, invest in extra storage space for your car so that way you can shove more essential items to take with you. If you're hiring movers, they won't automatically show up the day after you move in, so be sure to think carefully about the essential items that you need to take with you because you might be without your stuff for a while.
It's not much right now, but we'll bring you down. We've only really had time to get Splinter and pick up a few essentials.
Yeah, the bare essentials.
And now that you've moved into a new area, it's time to assimilate.
That's a fancy word that means act like a local.
Tip number 5, become a resident. Each state experiences their own form of xenophobia. Oh crap, bro. Those xenophobes, they like lay eggs in your mouth and then they burst out of your chest. Where's Sigourney Weaver when you need her, bro? Sigourney, I can't spell your name, but I need you here.
That's a xenomorph, you dumbass.
Xenophobia is the fear of something foreign. Even in the US, between the states, there's xenophobia. It's most commonly seen in places like Hawaii, where you see the signs that say locals only. But it can be disheartening to move to a new area only to be told you're not welcome there. And it's not just subjected to Hawaii either. Having just moved from California to Oregon, I can assure you that not everyone in Oregon is excited about the influx of people, especially those from California. But don't worry, the people who are ignorant enough to hate on you just because you're from a different state, probably aren't the type of people you want to be friends with anyway. Plus, they're probably hella old anyway, bro.
Hey, you respect your elders.
And once you change over your driver's license and your license plate, no one's really going to be able to tell the difference anyway. Unfortunately, you'll have to retake the written driving test again, but that's honestly probably the least of your worries when you move. And my final tip is, tip number 6, go with the flow and be prepared for absolutely anything. On the last leg of my cross-country move, Biddims and I hit a deer going 75 miles an hour just outside of Denver. It nearly totaled my car and definitely put a kink in our trip. We ended up renting an SUV just to finish the last leg of our trip. The point is, you never really know what's gonna happen, so be sure to cover all your bases. So if you're thinking about moving out of state or to a new area, but you're afraid of what it's like, take the risk and go for it. You can always move again if you don't like it. Which brings me to my favorite portion of the video, Irma's crap-o-meter. How much of a crap should you really give about today's episode?
Today's poop emoji's prairie dog at 2 out of 5 craps. This is pretty good advice for people who are moving, but otherwise, why the hell did you click on the video? I mean, if you wanted to hear my sexy voice, well, then you're probably a pervert.
Anyway, that does it for today's video, dudes. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to show your support and hit that like button. Have you ever moved out of state or to a new area? Be sure to share your experiences down there in the comments section. And until next time, peace out. What it do?